Hi, welcome back to Amagi in View. I'm Joe Ashby. I'm sitting here with John Nevitt. John, tell me what your title is again because I just forgot it as you told me. It's been a long day.
It's all right. Live television, as we said, right?
As we said, live television.
Senior Director of Product Marketing, focused on monetization products at Amagi.
Monetization products, perfect. And you know, we've talked with John Stone earlier in the day. We haven't had a chance to talk to you yet about all the crazy things going on with Thunderstorm, going on with the ecosystem around all of those products. So yeah, unpack the theme of monetization. I just want to start off with the first question you wrote down. You were like, can you unpack the theme of monetization a bit? Yes. What are we solving for? What is monetization in a nutshell?
Just trying to help you out. So, I mean, listen, obviously make more money is what comes to mind, and certainly that's true, but I think from a solution standpoint, we tend to break it down in a few areas. So the first is maximizing revenue per hour, and I'll talk a little bit more about how we think about that, because I do think even that theme of how do you maximize revenue from every hour of programming is a bit nuanced. You could, better optimize the inventory you have. You could create new ad opportunities. So there's a lot that could be done there. And that second bucket, I think, is really streamlining operations. Ad tech is pretty complex. It's almost sort of adjacent to broadcast tech as its own value chain, right? And so how can we simplify implementation and operation with things like Thunderstorm to ensure they could really work seamlessly out of the box? And then I think the third piece is better unified insights. And I think, as we know, this is a challenge because, again, there's so many endpoints for a content owner in streaming, right? They're distributing their content across so many different platforms. It can really be hard to get a unified view of audience engagement, audience reach, and then overlay those ad impressions and ad opportunities on top of it to really get that full picture of what content's engaging which audiences, and then what's the impact on ad opportunities at the end of the day. So.
Right, and so would you say like Thunderstorm is a piece of the monetization puzzle then? We have a lot of products that sort of surround that and build an ecosystem around that, right? What's the larger stack that we provide?
Yeah, for sure, and I do think, in a lot of ways, we've talked about Thunderstorm, our server-side ad insertion solution, and that really is at the core, just that idea of Amagi kind of being at the center of stitching those personalized ad pods into the stream and distributing them. Certainly that's critical, and even for that, the Thunderstorm piece of the equation, we're continuing, and I'll give some examples in a little bit, but we're continuing to think about how can we innovate on what's the role of server-side ad insertion, and given that position in the value chain of stitching the ad pod in, how can we potentially add value there, as from a revenue maximization standpoint. And then I think adjacent to Thunderstorm, we have what we call Ads Plus, which is our real-time CTV ad marketplace. And the function here is really where it actually allows Amagi to help our content owners and platforms and actually bring them advertising demand. Yeah. And so what we're actually doing is for certain channels, distributions, or even on portions of pods that our content owners aren't able to fill, Ads Plus can step in and help, and we could package that inventory in different ways to offer it at scale to different types of advertisers. But the net benefit ultimately for our content owners is we can really act as a partner in bringing in advertising demand where they may not be able to source it is Amagi Analytics. And so, where we're distributing content with Thunderstorm, today we're inserting beacons that allow us to do very detailed analytics, so we can understand audience reach, audience engagement, number of sessions that people are seeing, and then actually take that down to a content asset level and understand engagement with specific content on specific channels, on specific platforms. We could even do drill downs into things like geo, device type, so really giving people a better understanding of what's working.
Right, and now we're into the personalization conversation, right? Drilling all the way down to the device level, the individual taste and preference level, and making sure that the content that I see is always the content I want to see, right? Even when I don't know that I want to see it because it's an ad that's served just for me, so I'll be interested in it. It's always about making sure I see what I want to see, even if I don't know it, right?
Yeah, for sure. And enabling that, for sure.
Well, so what else are we bringing that's new? Because I know that we've had Thunderstorm for a while, and everybody's been using Thunderstorm to distribute and to monetize, and we've had a tremendous success, billions and billions of monthly or daily impressions. What's our impression count with Thunderstorm right now? Like?
It's definitely north of I think 50 billion a year. So
50 billion impressions a year.
Yeah. So
okay, that's like almost non-quantifiable in my brain. That's such a big number.
So definitely. We did say, right, definitely the ability to do that stitching at scale is a critical piece. When you're asking what's new, and I alluded to this before, I think we're also saying, even with Thunderstorm, being able to do that ad stitching, to call for the right ad, working with their ad decisioning server, huge benefit, but are there other things that we could do as kind of the SSAI provider to help them with that revenue maximization question?
Right.
And so one thing we're showcasing here today is something we call pod optimization. And so, not to go too far into the weeds in this brief interview.
We live in the weeds here, it's fine. We can take all day, go ahead.
Can we take an hour? No.
We might need it, right?
No, so the basic idea here is there's a lot of different things that could potentially impact a content owner's fill rates, and a lot of them involve what I would call kind of the performance of the ads for demand partners. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times ads that advertisers and demand partners are sending, particularly through programmatic advertising, which is kind of that real-time platform-driven advertising, a lot of those ads sometimes get dropped because users may churn, for example, in the middle of a longer ad break and things like that. And so we've looked at a bunch of different optimization levers that we could offer to kind of reduce that problem. So, for example, if a content owner does have a longer ad break, users are churning in the middle of that ad break. What used to happen is that those ads we typically would call for the ads at the beginning of the ad break. And so if somebody churns, those ads get dropped. And so then the end buyer kind of sees that as this, I didn't win the impression.
Gotcha.
And so what we're trying to do and to solve for that is we actually rolled out something called pod split that people can turn on who have these longer ad breaks. And so that effectively creates almost like virtual pods within a longer pod. And so we're able to, let's say someone has a 4-minute pod. It's a crazy long ad break. We can divide that into 4 1-minute breaks, and actually after each minute, we'll put out another call to advertisers to say, hey, we have a 1-minute ad break for you. And so that actually accounts for all the users who may have churned in the past minute or two. And so that's one example. We have kind of a suite of these types of levers, but we're thinking about how can we solve these types of problems at the SSAI level. So that's one example, and we're showcasing those. The other thing we're showcasing is what we're calling content ads. So this is, remember I said, there's that question of how can I create actually new ad inventory that didn't exist before, not just optimizing what you have, which was that last example. And so this idea of creating new ad inventory is what we're trying to do with in-content ad units. A lot of people are familiar with this concept from broadcast, and they think of it as broadcast graphics, right? I want to do an L-band kind of squeeze back, or picture-in-picture, or a animated graphic, and so it's visually it's the same idea, but I think those graphics are one-to-many, right? They're sort of hard-coded, and I push them out, right? And so the idea
typically in the video engine and the play-out origination, and it's locked to the feed forever.
Right, it's locked and it's played out nationally or whatever, and that's the way it is. So we're actually moving that to the SSAI layer, and so what that allows us to do is actually, those ads could be delivered only to specific cohorts, and they could be personalized, and we can do that in real time to say, for this user, what type of overlay do we want to show? And I think the other benefit, advertisers really want to be able to get that things like impression level tracking, right? They just don't want to say, oh, hey, that ad unit went out to everybody, don't worry about it. We could actually say, we delivered exactly 100,000 impressions of your L-band from this time to this time, and here's how it performed, right? So all of the things you would expect from a digital ad, we're kind of bringing into this idea of in-content ads. And so, really exciting ad opportunity that kind of offers the same workflow as people are used to from those mid-roll, dynamically served ads, but we're bringing that to in-content ads and really expanding people's ad portfolios that they're able to take out and offer to advertisers.
Well, and all that data insight into the personalization effort, I mean, it's shocking how precise it can be, and I've seen that in action myself, right? And there's a lot of telemetry, it's a lot of data gathering. And can you tell us any more about sort of the insights, that we're sort of using to make smart actions on this information?
Yeah, sure. I think you said insights. One thing I wanted to talk about, and we could talk about specifically for the purpose of ad personalization, but I did want to forget to mention, what we're showcasing with our analytics offering.
Oh, definitely, yes.
And which is something else we're showcasing at this show. And I think the idea here is, again, the problem I mentioned of, just simply the fragmentation of insights across different platforms, and people just not having the visibility of, again, how audiences are engaging with content, from reach to amount of time they're spending, with certain pieces of content, and then being able to really drill into all the different variables, geo, platform, device, and understand how that's impacting engagement. So what we're actually showcasing here is the next generation of Amagi Analytics. We've offered some version of this. The new version, we really thought a lot about this idea of actionable insights and how do we provide those much more easily.
Trademarked, right? Actionable insights.
I'm gonna make a note of that. I gotta
let's write it down.
I'll write that down after. We need a good tagline. So, So I think that we've put a lot of thought into how can we make the data more actionable? How can we give people what they need very quickly when they go into the platform? How could I pull top performing views for content or platforms or devices and just be able to get all those insights very quickly, then build a report, export it, all those types of things, build schedule reports. So dramatically improve speed, usability, and all of that. I think moving forward, the way we're thinking about it is now, how can we kind of build on this new foundation to even offer richer insights in different areas. So definitely with ads, ad pod level insights to help people potentially improve things like fill rate, things they could do from a how they're operating their business and things they could be doing differently. Also, looking at ways we might be able to bring in third-party data from outside the walls of Amagi. I mean, that's obviously very important to content owners. And then,
what kind of third-party data are we able to bring in there?
Well, again, this is kind of different things we're looking at, but certainly a very basic example would be, are there opportunities to bring in data from platforms where Amagi is not currently powering the SSAI,
right.
Where we may not have that first-party data, as we think about it, that kind of gets brought in real time. Are there ways that we could kind of bring some of those other platforms into the mix and normalize the data? And so that's something we're looking at it. I think the other thing that our customers have asked us for, and I think we're looking at is also things like benchmarking and understanding, right? So how do these metrics compare to maybe my peer set or others, right? Like, is this good numbers, is a bad number, and things like that. So I think those are...
We're able to take an even zoomed out level and look across peer groups even and see how their metrics are tracking.
Right, for maybe we're not doing that today, to be clear, but I think it's certainly within reach, and it's something that we're looking at. I think we're talking about really helping them make the data more actionable. I think that kind of benchmarking would really go a long way in helping people put context around the data that we're giving them, right?
Right.
So yeah, I think those are just some of the exciting things that we're showcasing here today, and all really under that umbrella of helping people monetize more effectively, as we talked about.
That's it, yeah. John, you can tell you are in product marketing. You literally hit the target. We have 15 seconds to spare.
Wow.
That was an absolutely perfect interview, my friend. Thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for watching. We'll be back later for our close, and then you can catch us tomorrow when we start the whole show again. Thank you for watching.